Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Ultimate Asia Magazine 2022 webinar. For today's session, our topic will be Unlocking Business Agility with Smart Manufacturing. I am Najwa Kamal, the MC of the day. Before we start with our webinar, I hope everyone is doing well and is having a great day. In today's world, cloud technology is one of the keys to enabling companies to be more involved in digitalization. Companies need to ensure that the technology implemented is liaised on a flexible platform for the future scalability. Companies should prepare for the expected and unexpected circumstances as consumer demands are unpredictable and they have constant change in demand pattern shows those who are equipped for surge and declines who are not, which in this matter gives out an extra point to the company who thinks ahead to prepare, act quickly to stay afloat in the sea of uncertainty. As of today, the Ultimate Asia Magazine team is organizing this interesting webinar. So let us hear from the experts on how to accelerate digital transformation in the manufacturing industry. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome our main sponsor of our webinar today, Aviva, and our supporting partner, Malaysia Robotics Automation Society, MyRAS. So before we start, may I introduce you to our speakers of the day. First of all, we have Dr. Iskandar from the Malaysia Robotics Automation Society, MyRAS. Dr. Iskandar Bahrain has a strong experience in robotics, starting from his PhD research in the UK in the late 80s. He came back to Malaysia and spent about 4 years in a local university until he got his association professorship and several national awards for his pioneering work in robotics. He then pursued his career with an international company. After gaining experience in robotics and computer integrated manufacturing system in the mid-90s, he then ventured into a venture capitalist world to expose himself to the global financial and technological market. He was offered as the CEO of an e-commerce company to link trade between 54 OIC members company under Islamic Development Bank venture funding. He was also the founding member of the Malaysia Robotics Automation Society back in 2014, which he is currently serving the president. Established in 2012, the Malaysia Robotics and Automation Society, MyRAS, is a professional organization that aims to bring together the different stakeholders in the in the robotics industry towards a goal of advancing the robotics and automation industry in Malaysia. MyRAS serves stakeholders from four classes, which are the industry, the government, academia, and the public. Secondly, representing Aviva, we have Zach Tan. Zach Tan is a cloud consultant for Aviva in APAC. He has been with Aviva for 3 years and is passionate to drive digital transformation in businesses. Zach Tan has experience in architecting factory automation control system, as well as consulting with customers across energy, food, and beverage, and customer packages good in digital transformation initiatives mapped to their key business objectives. Zach Tan holds a Bachelor of Degree Honours in Chemical Engineering from the National University of Singapore. Aviva is a global leader in industrial software that drives digital transformation for industrial organizations managing complex operational processes. Ladies and gentlemen, the webinar will start with a presentation by Dr. Iskandar from MyRAS, and then followed by Mr. Zach Tan, the cloud consultant of APAC from Aviva. We will have two presentations after one another, and then we'll proceed with the Q&A session. Without further ado, the floor is yours, Dr. Iskandar.
Hi everyone, can you see my screen? Yes, Doctor.
Yes, we do.
Okay. Firstly, thank you, Automate Asia, for organizing this webinar. And I think we're going through a virtual world now where basically I'm doing a presentation away from everybody, but we are still being able to get connected. And this is the new world that we are talking about. So this afternoon, I'll be sharing a bit of my presentation, which is called Smart Manufacturing Digital Transformation Certification Program, called iSmart DTCP. It is a program that we are currently running under MIRAS to help the local industry, especially those involved in adoption of smart manufacturing, to be more competitive and certified according to the best practices in the global standard. Okay. So I'll start my presentation with the basic business objectives of why people needs to go into smart manufacturing, and also the importance of transforming into the digital world for digital competitiveness and also sustainability. So people talk about productivity and sustainability. And then with the post-COVID pandemic, with the advance of IR 4.0, robotics and AI, how it can contribute to the survival of all of us in this new post-COVID world. And then probably I will touch a bit on some examples of MIRAS digitalization and smart manufacturing case study. I will be a bit more specific for Malaysia. For Malaysia, we have Malaysia through the Malaysian Productivity Corporation. They have identified 5 key strategic thrusts to make sure that Malaysian industry can achieve productivity. So number 1 is to focus on building a workforce of the future. So meaning focusing on people. If you want to transform, you want to go into productivity, Malaysia has to focus on the people. And then number 2 is driving digitalization and innovation, meaning that we have to start being able to use and adopt competitive technology to drive digitalization and also innovation. And then also making industry accountable for productivity. No more expecting the government to support in the productivity of the companies or the industry. Yeah. Previously, the mindset has been that they rely a lot on the government to help in the industrial productivity. And then number 4 is forging a robust ecosystem, making sure that we talk about ecosystem here. The industry has got to work very closely with the R&D center or research institute, manpower development institute, the sources of government support and funds and policy. So all this has to be forged together. And now with the coming of SDG, sustainability goals, we have to make sure that we are all in conformance to that. And then finally, securing a strong implementation mechanism. For MIRAS, our focus is very much into robotics. So we try to support the government's initiative in driving the adoption of intelligent robots to the initiative undertaken by the Malaysian government. So one of the initiatives undertaken by the Malaysian government is what they call the 10 by 10 MySTE, Science, Technology, Innovation and Economic Framework. So basically, it is a matrix of technology drivers against the socio-economic drivers. Yeah. So in this matrix, the 10 technology drivers and the 10 socio-economic drivers, there's a lot of roles that intelligent robots can play in terms of boosting the productivity of the country. These are some of the examples that currently MIRAS is involved in. So in our case today, we talk about smart manufacturing. So it will be under the vertical called smart technology and systems, which is the next generation engineering and manufacturing. So this is where I think the area that the topic of our webinar today. In this initiative, I would like to share that MyRust, we are involved in the national robotics ecosystem. Recently, the government has launched what they call the National Robotics Roadmap, where MyRust is given the mandate to be part of the task force to integrate a national robotics ecosystem, where we talk about number one, value creation. Value creation talks about basically value creation in high impact problem solving and also high impact new solutions. So we need to talk about creating new values through the use of robotics, AI, and IR 4.0. So when we create values, there must be a target customer. Who are the customers? In this case, it's all the industry players. The government also wants to be the target customer because government also needs to adopt robotics, AI, and IR 4.0. The general public, as we all know now, are also looking at robotics, especially in the retail, the restaurants, the pharmaceutical and services, and also the environment. And then also to work with partners to build the value creation. Partners here, we have research institute, not only locally, but also globally, training institutes, industry players, like all of us here today, and also the enablers, okay? So soon, I'm hoping that within, towards end of the year, MyRust, we will be publishing our own national robotics country report. So through this country report, it will share to all the manufacturing players or industry players or robotics players or people in the IR 4.0 players or the cloud players to understand what are the data available in the country. So it's going to be a bit of data analytics that we will be sharing to the public.
Do you own a manufacturing plant? Or do you manage a manufacturing plant?
A short video on what
Do you face some production problems and look for a simple and effective solution for them? Do you want to adapt your plant to Industry 4.0 for less production cost, better quality products, shorter production cycles, more efficiency at every production level? If you do, let's hear Steve's story. He used to manage factory trouble. There were a lot of problems in factory trouble, causing disruptions on production line, delayed delivery, therefore causing unnecessary expenses. What kinds of problems were these? Steve could not monitor the production line. Were the machines in production now, or were they in standby? Was the production completed or needed to be in progress? How much time is required for a job order? Steve didn't know these issues exactly and couldn't get accurate data from the documents. There was no notification when a machine stopped working frequently or when a breakdown occurred during the production. It took some time until the problem was noticed. So machine and equipment efficiency could not be estimated. Steve couldn't estimate his employees' efficiency. He didn't know whether they worked efficiently during their shifts or they were causing disruptions. He didn't even know if their breaks took longer than it should be. There was no real-time data for stock movements. Sometimes this could result in a total mess. One day, Steve met Meta Smart Factory. They presented to him one single, efficient, and the smartest solution to overcome these problems. Steve accepted immediately. Their team set and installed their products to every machine, and they installed their application to Steve's computer and Steve's phone. Now, Steve can monitor all production flow from his computer. He can plan job orders. He can manage all production processes accurately. He can even follow these using his mobile phone when he's at home or when he's on vacation. When a machine breaks down, Steve and his maintenance team get notified immediately. Following that, the team can respond to the failure by arranging a repair process. Steve knows when the machine starts working. Now, there is no more mess in warehouses. How many products or supplies are there in warehouses? How many of them will be transferred? All stock transfers can be monitored and managed by batch management of Meta applications. Every break of employees are recorded to the system. After a workday, or at the end of the week, or after a month, the efficiency of employees can be analyzed by a request. A report attached to a graph is generated, so Steve can interpret his employees' efficiency. In addition to this report, Steve can analyze his manufacturing workstations, machine status on those workstations, production orders, overall equipment effectiveness, and more. In this way, Steve can get a lot of estimations about the delivery, costs, and also he can decide maintenance times of machines to increase productivity. Steve solved his production problems with the best solution of Meta Smart Factory. Factory trouble turned into factory ever active. The productivity and profit of Steve's plant increased significantly, and Steve got the edge over his competitors. Well, what is Meta Smart Factory? It is an intelligent manufacturing management and execution system, making use of industrial Internet of Things to communicate with machines using the Internet, cloud computing to keep all data securely in cloud, real-time big data stream processing, data warehouse, and machine learning to analyze big data in cloud to generate meaningful visualizations. And lastly, SAP ERP integration to manage all production flow using SAP ERP modules. It is an all-in-one solution, which is the combination of hardware of Meta Industrial Panel and software of Meta Web and mobile applications. Meta Industrial Panel helps to take data from machines to count the products which is produced and to display the state of machine, the job order, the employee for that job order, and a lot of other useful data. Meta Web and mobile applications, on the other hand, help to monitor and manage production at every level from planning to delivery everywhere using the Internet. Meta Smart Factory, as Steve do, provides shorter production cycles, better quality of products, much more productivity, easy management of stocks, on-time delivery to customers, which altogether improves overall efficiency, reduces costs, and so increases profit. With an affordable cost, Meta Smart Factory brings the best and smartest solution to your manufacturing plant. For more information, visit us at www.
So basically, there is an example, a video of what smart manufacturing is all about, what we will be able to achieve. So basically, the adoption of technology like smart manufacturing, the idea is to build a future-proof business where you can systematically cost down your production. There's a systematic cost down program. There'll be a systematic productivity gain program. You'll be able to capture new business and customer, which is very important. And also importantly is to be able to integrate to the global supply chain. So this is the benefit of going into smart manufacturing and be able to build a future-proof business, okay? So here, when you talk about smart manufacturing, is all about data. How do we integrate the physical world with the virtual world or the cloud world, okay? So in this program, basically, in smart manufacturing digital digital transformation certification program, we look at actually transforming an industry, a target industry, from the current state to the future state, and then breaking it up into several steps of intervention programs. Okay, so currently in this program, there are 6 steps to this transformation program. So number 1 is what we call smart manufacturing level 1, which is where we will do the gap assessment. Okay, and then for level 2 is building the foundation of people and process. Level 3 is we will start upgrading the people and the process. Level 4, we will talk about the readiness of the people in the process. Level 5, then only we talk about implementing Industry 4.0. And level 6, then we talk about being globally competitive. So all these steps, we need to break up the problem statement by the factories or the company according to where they are in terms of the gaps that is available in the market space that they are competing. So this is also another view of how we look at smart manufacturing. So it's very important that every steps along the way from, let's say we go for productivity step 0, we should be able to see profit in gain from adopting smart manufacturing certification program. So we talk about basically productivity step 1, step 2, step 3, and step 4. So basically, the profit model we are trying to guarantee to the customer is that when they adopt the current state, okay, and they go for the profit model number 1, the profit that they are able to internally generate will be used to reinvest back again into the second stage, okay? So when they go into the smart manufacturing certification program for level 2, again, we need to squeeze down their productivity, to squeeze down the productivity so that they were able to generate additional profit from their operation. So that additional profit generated internally from their operation, it will be used to reinvest to the next stage, which is level 3. And so this is the model that the iSmart DTCP is adopting for the customer for level 1 to level 6, okay? So we begin, this is another big view of, again, as mentioned, we start with focusing on the people, preparing the people, and then we prepare the process, the technology, and finally is the research and development. So again, here we are working very closely as well with the Human Resource Development Corporation to assist in this transformation. It's very important that under the DTCP, the Digital Transformation Certification Program, we focus on people, process, technology, and also the R&D to make sure that we can drive down, lower down the cost of the products. We can ramp up the higher productivity of the manufacturing, and also a faster lead time for the production cycle. So benefits of the digitization, number 1, we should see that we'll be able to transition from manual to automation. We will be able to get automated data. We will be able to get equipment monitoring for efficiency. We'll be able to get overall shop floor monitoring and be able to discover overall supply chain structure. So when doing the execution, we need to focus on the execution. So in the execution, we should see some impact in terms of improved efficiency and productivity, improve the lead time, better decision-making in the execution, a faster team responsiveness in the execution, more transparency, and faster communication and teamwork. This is also the benefit from the program. From the program, you'll be able to see labor productivity, cost efficiency, increase the time share of high-skilled jobs, technologies and innovation capabilities, local technology development, be able to compete globally in cost, lead time, and quality, and continuous improvement and continuous learning. So in the transition to execution, we want to see to be able to deliver low cost, reduce foreign labor dependency, reduce lead time, superior quality, and high level customer responsiveness. These are all the dashboard that the iSmart DTCP through this program will be able to give a visualization and also advisory in terms of data analytics. So this is a typical view of a manufacturing ecosystem of the end-to-end supply chain. People talk basically about total customer satisfaction. People talk about quality, and then they talk about the cost and also the delivery. So through the supply, input, process, output, and customer measurements, we need to, again, to supply this to the data to achieve the total customer satisfaction that has been mentioned just now. So this is all the data analytics that will go into the DTCP. Again, there's various dashboards that you'll be able to see, either internal in terms of the manufacturing business system or the ERP, and also the external factors. So these are a bit more the detail of the program, the iSmart DTC program. So they look into data analytics and intelligent visualization, automated data acquisition, the overall OEE, the MES, and also the ERP. Okay. So finally, these are the final slides. It's all about cost reduction process. So it will be translated into the typical fishbone diagram of the current state to the future state, where we focus on the people, machine, method, materials, overhead, and R&D, delivery time reduction process, and also quality improvement process. And then finally, the business solution here is based on basically what we call a risk-sharing profit model collaboration agreement. This is where we will, through this program, MIRAS will assist the company through the MIRAS member. So MIRAS is not doing the solutioning. It's MIRAS member that will do the solutioning. But MIRAS, we will do the certification and also the auditing of the process to make sure that the customer will be able to achieve what the supplier commit to give to the customer. Because in other words, we try to protect the customer so that they achieve their profit model, as well as making sure that the supplier or the technology provider does the right thing, okay? So we are kind of the facilitator in this. So we come up with a solution which is fair for both parties, the supplier and also the customer, in what we call a risk-sharing profit model collaboration agreement. So this is some template. So I think that's all that I have for this afternoon to share with the audience here today. So again, I would like to thank, and I think I'll stop the presentation now. And over back to the organizer.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Iskandar, for the very informative presentation. I'm very sure we're able to benefit something out of his presentation today. Okay, so next we'll be having Mr. Zach for his presentation. Mr. Zach, please.
Thank you, Najan. Okay, can everyone see my screen currently? What do you actually see?
Yes, I do see the manufacturing agility.
Okay, perfect.
All right. Okay.
All right, so welcome everyone to this afternoon session to join us to actually learn more about manufacturing agility in terms of technology, process, and people. Yeah. So my name is actually Zachariah Tai. I'm a cloud consultant from Aviva. So first thing first, right? For those who do not really know who exactly is Aviva, right? Aviva is a leading industrial software provider that have more than 50 years of guiding customers through digital transformation journey and success help over 20,000 customers across the globe through their transformation. Aviva industrial portfolio solution actually spans across engineering solution, such as, for example, the 3D model design that typically is being utilized in the oil and gas sector, all the way to operation solutions, such as, for example, the supervisory control or manufacturing execution solution. So in Aviva itself, our solution is actually positioned to be open and industry and vendor agnostic to actually help our customers to future-proof their investment by providing them with a hybrid on-premise to cloud kind of architecture so that they are able to actually scale up and down their solution easily. And we also have an extensive network of global partners that's able to actually deliver our solutions wherever you are, whenever you want. So this is a short introduction to who exactly is Aviva. Then moving on, today the topic that I'll be going through is firstly, we'll kick off by telling you our current understanding based on our interaction with our manufacturing customers that we face upon. What is the typical challenge they face in their businesses, and what is the potential business impact for that challenges that they are facing? Secondly, we'll let you know what exactly is the required capability for our customers to actually overcome those challenges that we actually mentioned in the first slides over here. Yeah, and then we'll move on to actually give you an ideation of the possible use case on enterprise visibility to help to actually give businesses their agility in production planning procedures. And last but not least, we'll actually end off the session by giving you some key consideration that you can take off to actually have a successful digital transformation journey. Yeah, so this will be the agenda for today. First thing first, what is the typical challenges that we actually see when we engage with our customers? Well, typically from our customer base itself, we typically see that they have many legacy assets and systems across their different plants, across the different companies that they actually acquire throughout the different years of operations. So what is the impact of all these legacy systems and assets? Well, it is that they are actually having a lot of difficulty to actually have a single source of truth for their operation data. And because of that, they are unable to actually do real-time analytics to actually help to actually improve their production processes in terms of product quality or even equipment efficiency. So this is the first typical challenge that we typically see in our manufacturer customers. Secondly, our customer also have a large product variation in terms of the number of products they are trying to produce per site basis. And most of them are actually still utilizing manual assembly to actually assemble their product, and also relying on Excel spreadsheet as well as the worker to actually take a piece of paper to record down their operation efficiency on a daily basis. So what is the business challenge in that case? You might ask me. Well, it actually leads to challenges in terms of the corporate data quality as well as data governance, because in a manual operated environment, there's no accountability on who actually recorded down the operation data itself. And there's also a huge possibility that many of these important data points that could be utilized to make analytics will be lost through these manual reporting processes. So that's the second challenge. The third challenge we typically see is that our customer base, typically they do not really have a centralized area to collate all their workers' skill competency and learning in a centralized area. So what is the business challenge that comes about? Well, it is that the management team in our customer place, they have a lack of visibility on which employee actually have the correct amount of skill sets for them to execute out the job that they are supposed to actually do. And that also leads to a challenge in terms of the standardization of their operation across the different sites that they actually own, that might be running similar kind of assets, for example. And last but not least, the challenge we typically see on our customer side is that they rely on the homegrown based solution. So what's the business impact of doing your homegrown based solution? Well, it's in terms of the scalability of the solution, whereby you face a challenge in terms of standardizing the solution and whether that solution that has been created can actually last through the decades of operation to come. Because as soon as the competent worker that developed that homegrown solution leave the company, what happens is that there's no one else within the organization that's able to support the homegrown solution to actually add on more features and functions that enable business value. So with all these 4 challenges in view, what typically happens is that overall, our customer will face a non-optimized production process on their shop floor. So that's the overall impact to their business. So when we talk about what exactly is the required capability and outcomes our customer wish to achieve to help them to overcome the challenges that we actually mentioned previously, right? Number 1, in terms of efficiency, what they want to make sure is that they are able to actually maximize the resource utilization and also gain improvement in situational awareness to their plant floor activity. Secondly, in terms of agility, we are talking about having a knowledge-centric manufacturing process whereby the older workforce is able to actually share the knowledge that they have over the years of experience they are working upon to the younger generation through cloud solutions or digital platform, so that all this good knowledge that they have can be passed down to the younger generation. Thirdly, in terms of intelligence, our customer are looking into, having full transparency about their shop floor kind of application so that they are able to actually deliver the products on time, on budget, as well as aligning to their corporate sustainability goals. Last but not least is really talking about the scalability aspect, whereby they are looking into having an industrial template readily available so that they are able to actually scale up their solution very quickly from a single site to 30 sites or 40 sites across the globe based on the common industrial template. And with that, they are able to reduce their cost of implementation and the time they have taken for them to implement the project. So typically, most of our manufacturers that we are engaging upon, right, are actually at the start of their digital transformation process, whereby they are actually trying to figure out what exactly is the legacy assets and IT system they have to actually connect upon so that they can have the single source of truth with reliable data for them to do analytics such as, for example, energy efficiency kind of objective or business cases that they are actually embarking upon, and also improvement in their product quality, for example. Ultimately, all of them actually have the vision to actually reach the final maturity phase, whereby we can see here on planning and scheduling, whereby they have optimized production process so that they are able to actually reduce their overall cost of raw material that's being utilized, as well as helping them to increase their manufacturing throughput by up to 25% so that they can actually meet the demand of the market accordingly. So that is the wish they want to reach. And right now, most of them are actually at the beginning of their digital transformation process. So in terms of capability, what is the required thing, right? Number 1, in terms of efficiency, how customers should really digitally transform is in terms of digitalizing the current asset that they actually have to gain full visibility of their entire production and raw material value chain. That's the important aspect about efficiency, gaining enterprise-wide visibility to your entire supply chain itself. Secondly, in terms of agility, we mainly focus on the connected worker, whereby the customer will be able to actually utilize a hybrid cloud architecture, whereby we talk about an on-premise solution and a cloud solution working together so that the connected worker is able to actually collaborate together effectively to enable them to actually do work resolution easily. And secondly, in terms of workforce enablement, it's important to provide them with a digital platform that they are able to actually make use of the older generation know-how and capturing it into a digitalized format so that the younger generation will be able to access that digital content from a single place. Think of it as an industrial Facebook, whereby you can just scroll through, then you're like, aha, so previously this was done by someone, an senior engineer, and that's how I'm going to resolve it. vendor that is actually providing a data agnostic platform whereby they are able to actually connect to any types of legacy PLC on the ground or communication protocols that they might have, so that they are not tied into a particular vendor forever. So this is the key thing of industrial transformation success, is to find a vendor that is going to be able to integrate with your legacy assets. And in terms of intelligence, it's also on the aspect of enterprise data governance, whereby you need to actually subscribe into your asset hierarchy and production flow process so that you are able to have a single corporate data governance structure that you can apply from a single site to the 30 sites or 40 sites you own globally. And last but not least, about scalability is really having that industrial template whereby you have all the group practices consolidated into a single library, and you're able to make use of this industrial template to size it up throughout your global network. So that is the four main capability that's required to help manufacturers overcome the typical challenge that they face. So let me now just show you what is the possibility of gaining business agility via an enterprise visualization use case. Well, the use case here is really talking about a critical inventory failure, whereby there's a raw material required to produce a particular batch of products. And then in this use case itself, you can notice that the production planner over here is getting notified of a low inventory warning from the system itself. And then he can actually correlate with the operation team to actually validate on whether this low inventory is affecting any of their impending orders that they are supposed to actually fulfill through the production plant floor itself. And then the production manager is able to be utilizing the same platform that's being shared to do some rescheduling on what's the possible alternative raw material that's actually required for them to actually fill in this low inventory warning that is being received previously. So without further ado, let us go into the video and take a look at how exactly this can be done using a hybrid cloud and on-premise solution.
This unified operations center provides full visibility over the beer manufacturing process from farm to fork, with live KPIs and alarms. The production planner can visualize active notifications through the heading bar on the home screen. Notification number 103 is showing that there is an issue with barley production at one of the farm sites. Here, they can navigate directly to the affected site. Within Site 1, the operations team can confirm the issue with the barley production via the error messages and icons. This unplanned issue will cause immediate problems, and they can that shipment is due later today. Navigating to the inventory overview, they can see the current status of the barley stocks are not ideal, as shown by the warning icon. For further investigation, the individual status of each barley storage tank, with their respective barley grain types, can also be visualized. The production manager can view the upcoming orders. By looking at the inventory graphs for Order 1, they can see that the issues at the farm will impact the brewery's ability to fulfill the order in a few days' time. From here, the production manager has two options: either substitute the grain, or change the production order. They can view the order requirements for each batch, allowing identification of any substitutions available in case of low inventory. They see that another grain type is substitutable for this batch, and is in good supply, as shown by the inventory graph for Order 2. Despite the issues at the farm, the production manager can see that the current reserves of the barley will be enough to fulfill Order 3. By viewing the inventory graph, they can see that the next delivery is due today. Navigating to the distribution screen, the operations team can see that truck 003 is at the depot ready to be emptied, and is carrying barley. The operations team can then assign this truck to an empty receival bay and to the desired storage silo. They can see that the load is of the barley grain type that we are expecting. Now that order 3 can be fulfilled, the production manager can navigate to the inventory screen. Using Aviva Teamwork, they can now fill out the request form to substitute the barley grain for order 1.
And so that completes the simple demonstration that you can actually see on how business can actually gain agility via an enterprise visualization of their production value chain and can easily switch out and identify the raw material constraint phase, which is being powered via this single platform that is utilizing a hybrid on-premise and cloud-based solution. So here at Aviva, what we really aim to help our customer to achieve via their digital transformation successes is by helping them to actually set business objectives together as a collaboration. So in terms of improving efficiency, we work alongside with Henkel to actually create a digital backbone that's able to actually capture over 1 million worth of data points daily to actually help them to improve their energy efficiency and equipment efficiency throughout their entire global network of manufacturing plants itself. Secondly, on the point about agility, we enable Nestle to actually create a centralized manufacturing excellence program so that 23 of their factories are able to actually tap into the workers' joint competency and skill sets so that they are able to actually rely upon the older generation workforce best practices. In terms of intelligence, we help Starbucks to actually integrate their IT and OT system into a single operation management interface so that they are able to actually view their production and inventory data in context using a single platform. Last but not least is the most important point, which is about scalability of the solution, whereby we actually help Procter & Gamble to actually standardize the same industrial template that's being utilized across 90 of their plants so that they can actually achieve the same reporting structure and help them to reduce the total implementation cost via industrial templatization. That's the important thing when you are going through digital transformation. You want to make sure you have a solution that is easily scalable. So, in summary, what do we envision for the future of manufacturing? Well, it is actually to empower the worker with information at their fingertip and a digital knowledge base that they can actually tap into to help them to improve workforce productivity as well as the efficiency of the plant they are actually operating upon. And the 4 main value drivers are as follows. Number 1, fast time to value in implementing solution to standardize their operations very quickly. Number 2 is to actually foster a collaborative platform whereby the worker is able to work upon and send information easily using cloud-based solution, for example. Thirdly, is to actually help the worker to gain quick visibility into which key assets they actually have to focus on so that it makes a huge impact to the company's bottom line. Number 4 is really talking about the flexible architecture in coming out with automation system that's able to actually scale to connect IT and OT system together, allowing them to have a flexible on-premise and cloud architecture when they go through their digital transformation process. So the key of success that I will leave you by is really, number 1, to try to understand your daily user workflow as well as the task they are trying to achieve, to actually connect the task that they are trying to achieve to the technology required so that they are able to complete their tasks much more easily. And lastly, is to really enable the people to make use of the new technology that have been implemented and the new processes that have been implemented. From our past experience that we see is that some companies might have the process and technology in place. However, the people are not yet skillful enough to use that new technology. And that's where the digital transformation journey goes into the bottleneck. So essentially, it's important for us to connect people together with the tasks that they are doing on a daily basis and integrate technology into their current workflow. That's the way to go ahead for a digital transformation success. And I have come to the end of the presentation, and I thank you for your attention. And I shall hand it back to Naja. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zach, for your interesting presentation. So now we are going to proceed with the Q&A session. All right. So the first question would be for Dr. Ishkanda. So I will read out the question and you may answer the question lah. All right. Okay. So the first question for Dr. Ishkanda, it would be, how does data-driven decision solution can enhance our work performance? Right.
Okay. So basically, as we all know, is the future world is all about data-driven solution. So it is data now that will determine the actual state of the production. For example, if let's say you're in a manufacturing environment, so you do not know how much waste is actually happening in your factory. So if you have data, okay, if let's say you're running at example 1 million ringgit operational expenditure, okay, and that 1 million ringgit, for example, maybe 40% is due to labor, and the others may be due to raw materials, and the others are processes. So when you talk about waste, there's a lot of also waste coming from people. For example, people who are sleeping on the job, people who are disappearing on the job, people are not productive, they're not doing what they're supposed to do. Those are considered wastage as far as the company is concerned. So you must know how many percent is people are not producing as what they're supposed to produce. So that if you, let's say you're running a, let's say example, a 1 million ringgit operation in 1 year, for example, not in 1 month, but example, a small SME, for example, in 1 year. So if let's say a small 10% can translate to almost the 1 million, it can translate to 100,000 ringgit savings, you see. So that 100,000 ringgit can be easily used to buy a software to make sure that you can increase your productivity, because a typical software maybe might cost you 10 or 15 ringgit software to help increase your labor's productivity. So if you invest in, let's say, 15 or 20,000 ringgit, you still have about 80,000 ringgit profit actually. Okay, so the next year, for example, if you start using data, so you're already getting about, easily about 100,000 ringgit savings from your operations. That is the importance of data to enhance productivity or work performance. Relating to people, the next one is raw material. Again, in production, people throw a lot of waste and it's not very efficient. So if you can save, let's say, another 10% from waste from material, that can translate to, again, a few 100,000 ringgit savings. So again, using technology, you invest, let's say, 10 or 20,000 ringgit solution, you can already save about 100,000 ringgit in terms of material cost saving. And then the others is, let's say, like machinery efficiency, the OEE and all that. So all this talk relates to data-driven decision solutions. Using the right tools, you can immediately see a profit being gained from your improvement of your productivity, and then get a third party auditor to audit to make sure that whoever is doing the solutions for you, and whoever, I mean, your company is also following the process. So the third party auditor will tell you that, okay, you are following according to the what is supposed to do, the standards. Then that's how you maintain stability in terms of your profit and loss, your P&L, your performance, and all those measurements. Yeah. So for question number 2, can I, Najwa, can I go to question number 2 or?
Yes, of course. You can just answer the question right away if you want to.
Yeah, so how should
right.
we determine the return on investment? So I think this is very simple, very straightforward. So return on investment is basically how much money you put into your system and when can you get back your money, okay? So basically, sometimes return on investment can come from the savings. For example, savings of, you reduce your number of headcount, your people. So that savings from, let's say, in one process, you need about, in one workstation, you need about 4 people to manage that workstation. But using technology to improve either the material, the process, or the workflow, you can cut it down to, let's say, 2 people. So you are saving two headcounts there. So that 2 headcount money that you are saving, you can use to pay for the systems, because the systems is only a one-time installation. So typically, there is people look into the return on investment, how determine, maybe they look at the cost savings that you will get and how long, let's say, you will get back your money. Or it can also look into the productivity gain. Okay, if you spend this money, your revenue will go up, let's say, 2 times. So because your revenue goes up 2 times, so of course you'll get back your money, let's say, within 1 year or 1.5 years or 2 years. Typically in smart manufacturing, I would suggest don't go more than 2 years. You should be looking at 1 year to 2 year kind of return on investment. I think my experience is that if you go more than that, I think that is really considered a big project, or it's not a quick win installation of robotics, AI, and IR 4.0 solution. So that's my quick response, Najwa, to the 2 questions. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Iskandar, for your questions. So we'll move on. We'll question Mr. Zach. So Mr. Zach, the first question for you is, manufacturing entities are not willing to store their data in the cloud. What's your view on this, and how should the company manage this issue?
Thank you, Nigel. So I think if I may to answer these 2 questions, right, I would actually combine the 2 questions together, because it's really talking about the concerns that the customers have in terms of the cloud implementation. So let me just break it up into 2 different portions. Yeah. So typically when we engage with our customers to talk about cloud, firstly, we address their cloud concern, which are in terms of like data residency. Secondly, we also address what is the potential upside they will actually have in terms of adopting cloud-based solution. So when addressing their cloud concerns that they might have, right, the first big thing we actually wanted to understand upon is if there's any local government policies in place that require data residents to be in the country itself. And the second point we will typically ask our customers is in terms of the platform security and data security. How is the cloud platform able to actually, be fully secured? What is the testing the cloud vendors are providing to make sure that the security of their cloud platform will not be easily penetratable by hackers, for example? What is the type of encryption methods that the cloud vendor actually utilize to make sure that their data on the cloud is actually fully secure as compared to them implementing an on-premise solution? So what we can suggest to actually address that kind of concern is for manufacturers to ask the cloud vendors or willing to consider on vendors that have the SOC 2 kind of certifications that covers the aspect of in terms of the enterprise cloud management. How is a cloud solution? Who is the R&D team that developed the cloud solution, for example? Where is the cloud hosted? What is the different penetration tests that the cloud vendors is actually doing as compared to the manufacturer's entity themselves, hosting the solution on their local data store, for example. Which one is safer, right? Are you comparing yourself with your own local budget of implementing your IT infrastructure versus a cloud vendor like, for example, Amazon AWS, or maybe industrial cloud vendor like Aviva, right? They have the scalability and data center in place to actually, have that personnel there to fully make sure that no one is able to enter into that particular server itself, essentially. And talking about the benefit itself, what we typically want our customer to consider when embarking on a cloud journey is to ask themselves whether fast time to value is important to them. If they were to actually build up their own on-premise solution, they will actually have to actually install the different software, the hardware, and procure the hardware themselves. And that typically takes 3 months for it to happen. But if they embark on a cloud solution itself, we reduce the implementation time to just 1 week. So that's how easy it is for them to actually have a quick win in their digital transformation process. So these are kind of like the consideration that I will put up to actually address the concerns of the manufacturing industry in putting their data into the cloud. Whether the risk versus the reward, which one is more balanced? So that's the kind of perspective I can give. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Zach, for the helpful answers. So we have one last question, and this is open for both Dr. Iskandar and Mrs. Zach. So the question is, what are the new trends of innovation manufacturing solutions?
So basically, what are the trends of innovative manufacturing solutions? If you look for Malaysia, people are not talking about digital twin. Digital twin is talking about the physical manufacturing mapped against the digital manufacturing. So that's number one. Digital twin is becoming, I'm seeing as MIRAS getting more and more popular, even among the small SMEs, digital twin. Secondly is additive manufacturing, because part production, people wants to do a shorter time in terms of their production manufacturing. So people are going more and more for additive manufacturing to go into what we call a high mix, low volume production. So that's number two for high mix, low volume production. And number three is, all these tools to help the current worker to be more productive using things like augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality. So there's a lot of wearables, IoT that it's just like an army, an army going to war. So you see the army, their body will be packed with so many IoT gadgets that you're not sure, are they fighting a human or they're fighting a digital war? So that is for the defense sector. But for manufacturing, it's also the same now. You will see the future workers is going to be loaded with a lot of wearables or devices to increase their productivity, because we're trying to reduce as much as possible after COVID, a human being present in the production line. So whoever, when there's no choice, you still have to deploy human in the production line. Try to bundle as much data into this human, because they are the only one who are able to move around the production area. So there's a lot of all these digital, gadgets like, the AR, mixed reality, all this, a lot. So these are the three trends in innovation manufacturing solutions that I see. at least from the Myra's perspective, in talking to our members lah. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Iskandar. Anything from your side, Mr. Zach?
Well, that's very interesting. So concurring to what Dr. Iskandar has shared, actually one of the key trends that from Aviva customer base that we see is actually on top of digital twin. And in terms of digital twin, we actually see customers defining the different digital twin they have in mind. For example, they can have an asset digital twin that actually utilized for mostly maintenance use cases. They can also have a process optimization digital twin so that they are able to actually optimize the raw material input and maximize the output for the production process. So there are many different types of digital twin we are observing from the market itself, and they are all mainly powered by artificial intelligence. And the most common use case that we typically see in terms of this kind of artificial intelligence application is to actually help to improve product quality as well as energy efficiency. That's the two most common trends that we are actually looking into in terms of innovative manufacturing solution. So the companies actually wanted to actually have a data sharing platform that is open and agnostic, whereby they can actually share the industrial data easily with third-party analytics AI so that they are able to actually get a quick return on investment in terms of energy consumptions as well as product quality itself. So that's the two main use case of innovation trends that we're observing. And then secondly, companies are also looking into the space of the connected worker, whereby they ask about how can the different site workers actually come together to actually collaborate on a particular business case or business challenge that they face. How can we easily share data among site A with site B with site Z, for example? How can they have a single platform to share the data across the board without the utilize of like Excel spreadsheet or email chain? That's also a second trend that we are looking at, whereby they are looking into cloud-based solution so that they are able to share data easily from a site before another, and the corporate headquarters will have a centralized kind of corporate KPI reporting structure, whereby the industrial data from their different sites are all being aggregated to a single platform. So there's a second trend that we are looking, company embarking on using cloud and AI to improve production quality, as well as corporate operation tracking to make sure that their investment that they make in digital transformation is being rewarded in a 1 year to 2 years kind of time scale. They mainly focus on quick win and then also have a long-term kind of 5 years plan in place. So that's the kind of innovation manufacturing trends that I can provide the audience upon. Thank you for the question, Naja.
All right, thank you. So we've got the two great answers from both Dr. Iskandar and Mr. Zach. So if any one of you on the floor has any questions for the speaker, you may share it at the Q&A panel. The speakers or the panelists will answer you accordingly. So with your audiences, you may answer the survey for 2 minutes before we end our webinar today. Thank you everyone for your participation. We hope to see you next time. If you have any inquiries, welcome to write to our general email, my@fireworksbi.com. Our team will liaise with you accordingly. Please note that a recorded version of this interview would be available on www.asiaautomate.com 1 week after live version. You're also welcome to read the Automate Asia e-magazine online or download it for free. Also, welcome to follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn at Automate Asia Magazine to get the latest information or news. Okay, so we appreciate Dr. Iskandar and Mrs. Zach for spending your time with us, and thank you everyone for your time as well. So I wish you enjoy this session and you are able to benefit from it. So do continue to take care and stay safe. For the speakers, you may stay for a little while as we would have a proper closing with you both. Thank you very much. See you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.